Meanwhile, President Biden's outreach to shore up support for his candidacy continued last night, this time with Democratic mayors. He met virtually with nearly 200 mayors to discuss the stakes of the 2024 elections for cities across America. He also addressed how he had fallen short, as he put it, during the debate 2 weeks ago, calling it, quote, a lousy night. And joining us now, one of the mayors who was on that call, Atlanta's Andre Dickens. Thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. We appreciate it. Let's get right to it. I'm wondering, Mr. Mayor, how President Biden seemed on the call. How did he do? Did he seem fit for the presidency?
Yeah, I mean, Joe Biden came onto the call and we had a great discussion as mayors, hundreds of mayors across the country were able to hear directly from President Biden. He's fired up. He's ready to defeat Donald Trump. He was on there talking about the wonderful things he's done already over the past 3.5 years as president of the United States. He also doubled down on how he supported cities throughout his presidency. As mayors, we work directly with the White House because of his leadership. This administration of the President Biden and Harris administration has given mayors direct access to them. And so the American Rescue Plan Act dollars that they came up with, they came right down to cities. The bipartisan infrastructure law came right to cities. So he talked directly to mayors because he understands our job is really on the ground, working with people and businesses right in our communities. And so this was a fired up call with him talking directly to us, saying, he's going to run right through the finish line and still be our president.
Mr. Mayor, we have heard Donald Trump repeatedly vilify cities, paint them in the harshest of terms. What would it be like, in your estimation, for your city and cities like yours, were Trump to win the White House again this November?
Well, Donald Trump has already talked negatively about Atlanta at every chance he can get. And that's, primarily because he was arrested here and booked, and his mugshot came about in Atlanta at the Fulton County Sheriff's Office, because he has to stand trial here for trying to steal an election. So no wonder Donald Trump doesn't like Atlanta and doesn't like cities in general, because cities actually work on the ground and reality. The things that mayors come up with and do directly affects people. And so Donald Trump has never lived in the world of reality, which is why when you look at things like Project 2025, you have to be scared of what you see in there. He's an extremist and he wants to be a dictator. And it's hard to be a dictator when you got to face people face to face like a city does, a mayor does. So it will be very difficult to go from the Biden administration that gives us direct access. I have, somewhere around 8 to 10 people I can call daily at the White House or in that administration, to what I've heard in the Trump administration of the past. You don't get access to these folks, and they don't really want to talk to Democratic cities or mayors in general. So being cut off from communication with the White House and federal funding is a fear of mine and a fear of many mayors.
Mr. Mayor, in the meeting yesterday, 3 of your colleagues were given permission to ask a question of the president. He was asked 3 questions by the mayors. One was on gun violence. The other was about the future of democracy. And the third was, how can mayors help the campaign? But I'm wondering, did immigration come up as an issue that was discussed with the president? And what is the cost, if any, to Atlanta of the burden of immigrants, taking care of immigrants in Atlanta and other American cities?
Yeah, during that call, no mayors asked any questions about immigration, and so that didn't come up. A lot of the things that you mentioned did come up around gun control, around the economy, around various issues that are very germane to mayors and to cities. So that did not come up. And right now, the city of Atlanta received about $10 million directly from the federal government to support the immigration, the migration that has occurred. Ours hasn't been as broad or as large as we've seen in some other major cities. So we've received the funding that we need to be able to handle the situation at hand.
Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning.